Hey everybody, it's Patrice Sandstrom, and I'm here in New York City. Don't let the bridge fool you. With Erin Wheelock, and we are talking about the database class. This is the first of our series of 4 classes, where today we're going to talk about kind of the story, the challenges and obstacles, and how those have turned or can turn into opportunities using Command. We're going to do the Lead Accelerator next week. The third class is going to be how and why to scale your business using focusing on referrals, agent-to-agent referrals specifically. And then on the last class, the fabulous Erin Wheelock will run through and give us a very detailed way to run your business using your database the way the MREA tells us. So in the meantime, your Market Center will have some classes for you that can help to get even deeper into Command and cover things that we don't get to. And I'll share a little bit about me. So I'm in obviously the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm the East Bay, so we get most of our clients are people leaving San Francisco they just got married, maybe they have a kid and they're looking for a little bit more of a suburban life. So usually they end up in Oakland and Berkeley. At that point, when it's time for their kids to go to school, they'll usually end up going through the tunnel. There really is a tunnel. And on the other side of the tunnel, it's a lot more suburban. So the prices are lower and there's a lot more. So we absorb those clients coming from San Francisco. 14 years in the business, 6 years with Keller Williams. And I have a team of 5 buyer's agents and 2 administrators that are working with me. And I handle the listings for now. So, and this year, fingers crossed, we're close to 50 transactions, which is the plan. Last year we did 37. It was a trickier year or so, and our goal is to get to 100 at some point. So we are right in what they call the messy middle, where we're learning. So this class is really talking about what we've learned and kind of the struggles, but I just want to set up kind of where we are. Erin is our superstar talent who's going to be truly teaching us on December 9th. So all of these classes are going to be on a Friday. The Zoom link will be the same every time. The last class, because Hanukkah is beginning.
I don't think they're. Yeah, I was going to say I don't think they're all on a Friday.
Just the last class. Yeah, the Friday, and then it'll be the last one is going to be on a Wednesday because of the holidays that are coming. So that's the 9th. Everything should be on your email. So the 13th, the 20th, December 4th, and then December 9th are the classes. So just wanted to get all of that out there. Erin, do you want to say anything before we really get started?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things just to keep in mind for this class, number one, Patrice really comes from contribution with this. And, you know, the reason why her and I do like doing this is because it has changed our business in so many ways. And Patrice has given me so many ahas and things to think about just from how she's changed her business and how she's been implementing Command. And, you know, this first class, just, you know, do keep in mind and please help us by being interactive, because we can make this the most beneficial thing possible for you the more we learn from you and what your challenges and struggles and the things you want to learn are, because there's always a solution and there's always a way to make this better. And I will be here for most of the time from New York, because I know that we do have some things that are a little bit different, but let me tell you, there's nothing stopping us from using this at a high level.
Yes, thank you, Erin. That definitely a great point. We just did this class at my Market Center in Danville, and I have to say it really was, people really found a lot of value out of it. And the reason that they found value is because you guys are asking questions. I'm an agent just like you. We're not selling Command by any means. It's just a great way to have an open dialogue. So definitely please do. I put the topics on the side that I'll be going through. We had taught this class in another country, and these were the topics they came up with. If you have a different question, again, ask away, and we'll just kind of go through. So any questions before I get started?
This is going to be easier to ask you than to type it in the box because it's too long. To dump contacts into Command, I originally started doing it, I'm working with a partner. She was having me put everything on the sheets, whatever.
Okay.
And that didn't seem terribly efficient. So I asked yesterday, I'm in another Command class too. There's actually a format. There's a template, which I can then fill that out instead and drag and drop that in, and it'll self-populate Command. She put it somewhere. I can't find it. Do you guys have that by chance? And can I get a copy of it?
I'll bet someone at your Market Center has one. Go ahead, Erin.
I do.
Okay. That would be great, because I don't want to do things twice.
Yeah, no, you're talking about the template, right? Yeah. The template.
I don't see it. Where is it?
No, I'm asking you. You're asking about the command template, right?
Oh, but the command
That's what
template.
you
Yes,
want?
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
okay. I'll drop a link. Give me 2 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a great question. And I talk about that a little bit through because we actually had to map an entire spreadsheet because that template didn't work for me. So please know that some of you that may have a more robust database already, the straight template may work for you, and for us it did not. So we actually went through and we had one created. I'm happy to share mine if it's different than Erin's too.
Yeah, no,
We had to customize it a little bit.
I'm so
It worked,
new that
though.
I can adjust mine to fit
Yeah,
the one that's existing.
and there are definitely people that can help out with those things, and I know Erin has some resources for that too.
Erin, where are you? I come into the New York office. I have no idea where you are.
I have an office in the back next to the big conference room in the middle.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I'm up by the front by Fanny. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the other side.
Okay.
I love it.
I'll have to come say hello.
Yes.
Yes, you guys can help each other, be accountability partners. I'm gonna hit that one quite a bit and make sure everyone's doing it. Because really the whole goal in this, you guys, by the end of it, is the reason that it's 4 classes is so we can chunk it out and get better and better. And then we're starting 2021 with a really powerful year, knowing that all of this little piddly stuff is tricky because there is going to be work involved. And so this is really a discussion of whether it's worth it. So I'm going to jump right into it. What are the advantages of using Command? I'm sure there are lots of other ones. I'm going to share with you my story a little bit and the advantages that I found in it. So I actually have been using a different database for years. Like I said, I've been doing this for 14 years. I came from a company that had Agent Achieve, which I just love that platform. I almost didn't want to leave the company just because I really enjoyed that CRM. So the point is I'm loyal. When I find something, I typically stick with it. There is a super mega producer who does, I don't know, 70 to 150 million a year easily just from referral business. And she was using this company, a third party, it's Follow Up Boss. And so I thought, oh, if it's good enough for her, I'll take it. That was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I loved it. I loved Follow Up Boss. I found it so simple to work with. The team situation was so smooth. We literally just clicked a button, leads would go back and forth. And I thought I was the luckiest person in the world to find Follow Up Boss. I probably sold that to everybody that I met. So that was my love story with Follow Up Boss. Everything was chugging along and then COVID happened. And obviously COVID was not delightful. Fortunately, I had some masterminds and a coach who got really direct with me and said, you need to cut your expenses. And COVID, I was like, oh, sure, yeah, no big deal. Took a shift class, that came up again. Everyone just kept talking about cutting the expenses, right? Again, went back to that coach and he said, have you cut your expenses? No. And he was like, you need to, and this is what you need to think of. So this was my aha moment. You need to imagine that you don't sell another house for the next 6 months. And then for the following 6 months that you only sell half of the volume that you typically would. What would change about your business? And then what expenses would you cut? And that totally changed my perspective in such a big way. And I realized that $400 I spent a month on Follow Up Boss, which was so neat and convenient, wasn't very much in my business, right? That wasn't a big deal. However, if COVID happened, then it would be a big deal. So we switched over to Command. It was a very uncomfortable process. My assistant had to go through hours. She was probably spending 30 hours a week, as it felt like, going through all of those databases, doing the mapping, getting rid of the duplicates. The cool thing, you guys, though, is when she went through all of that work, she actually cleaned up our database, which she's been with me for 2 years. That was one of her first tasks, and it never got done because something else was always screaming a lot more. But because we were switching over to Command, that obstacle became an opportunity where we actually cleaned our database. So that was really cool. The other thing is that we started looking things differently. And The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is an amazing book, right? Gary Keller is a brilliant man, but Gary Keller didn't just sit there and go, I wonder what the best agent should be and like write the book from his mind. He literally went out, found the top agents across the country, right? Looked at what they were doing, wrote it in a book, and that's the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So the Command system is really his interpretation of building an app for that. So when I started changing, it just changed my mind a little bit. And I thought, okay, if this is the app for the MREA, what would be the next best business decision, right? So I ended up looking at other ads. Anyway, long story short, we cut out all of the Facebook ads that we had just for glamour. We cut out the Facebook my follow-up boss system, and we decided to use that for business. So now we're using the lead accelerator. So the lead accelerator is the Facebook through Command tool. We found that our leads are somewhere between $1 to $3 a lead. I've personally spent $1,900 and I have 655 leads through that time. And this has been over the last 4 or 5 months. I don't think we're doing ads at a high level, and yet we're still getting all of this stuff. It's just coming in. I literally failed into this. So I just really want to say I'm at about $2 a lead average. You can build up your database. So I just really want to make that point and hit that home, because I know we have people that have just started in this business, and then we have people that have been here for a while. And the reality is our job is lead generation, right? So now we just found a very convenient way to lead generate using, again, this command system. So that's number one. Erin, were you raising your hand?
Oh yeah, I'm going to beat that home 3 or 4 more times for y'all, because I'm not even Southern. That's how much I'm beating it home. Because I'm guilty of it. I will also work in the team. We'll work Street Easy leads. Those leads are 35%, right? Versus taking that money, putting it into Lead Accelerator, and spending on average $2 a lead. I mean, yeah, you do the math of our average price point of like, what is it, 1.1 million now? So it's just obvious. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And again, we're going back to MREA. It literally says in the book that if you dial this many leads, and I think it's 1,600, right? You need, is it 1,600? And you touch them this many times. And again, this isn't his mind. This is a formula that has been proven for years. This is the kind of business that you're going to have, right? And it depends based on your price point. He didn't say you need to go find all of these people that are buyers and sellers. He literally just said people, you build a relationship and go from there. So yes, it is the perfect way to build up your system so well. And that's what my cost is in California, and we're not doing it well. And for now, we're basically only doing my own listings. There are also so many other ways you could do it. You can market for buyers for your own self. Even if you don't have a listing, you could just show pictures of a house that you take yourself. And then this other cool thing we did is, again, success sometimes comes from failure, oftentimes. And we had a referral partner that asked us, she's in Utah, and she said, will you help advertise my listing? Will you share with me, share with your database? And I said, sure. So I told Liz, why don't you advertise that? And then if someone's moving from California there, maybe we'll get a seller lead. Well, she made the mistake and advertised it in that market. And so we spent $45 and I was able to deliver 39 leads to my referral partner. As you can imagine, first of all, that's 39 pieces of business that I might get a 25 referral fee. Second of all, I just gave someone 39 leads in their marketplace. Do you think she's going to continue to be loyal to me and give me referral business? Of course. And by the way, we'll talk about that more on our third class on building your referral business. But I just want to make it very clear of the opportunity here. And again, an opportunity that I had no idea about. I didn't switch over to Command for this opportunity. I only found it when I fell into this. And if you guys did it at a high level, I think you could have even more success than we've had so far. So that one's awesome. Because of all these leads, by the way, you guys, I've had to hire a virtual assistant, and now we're building out our 36 touch in a way that we didn't before. And we're also interviewing for an ISA position. And an ISA would be someone that's converting leads at a high level. Again, these are leads. These are not clients. I don't expect any of these people to be buying real estate from us. I don't think they're going to click on a button and then I'm going to say, let's write a contract, right? So they're not clients. They're definitely leads. But now I have the opportunity to build a relationship with them so that at some point within the next 2 years, when they might be ready to buy, sell, or refer someone, we'll be in a relationship and we can have that opportunity. Again, full on MREA at a very high level.
Also, I just want to interject, sorry
yes,
for interrupting, and add in too, because it's very possible. I mean, Chicago just went into full-blown lockdown. It's very possible that we're going to go into a lockdown again. And this is something that's super powerful that can allow us to make money, even while we aren't able to show apartments, right? So it's pretty powerful. And I think now more than ever, it's a great time to keep in touch with it. And also I have to say my ad spend and the leads was so much higher, or so many more leads. My ad spend was lower during COVID when people were locked in because they were online so much more and clicking on buttons. So it's a good time to be educated about this.
That's so interesting. I was asking my admin, I'm like, something's wrong because we were at about 190 a lead and now I'm at 290 a lead. So I wonder if it's that. I also wonder if we're just doing something wrong. I mean, certain ads are going to do better than others, right? So if you make this your one thing, it can be huge. So thank you for sharing that, Erin.
Patrice, it's always good to restart the listing as well, especially like Street Easy and stuff. When it's like a rental, when it's like 21 days or so, you restart it, and then you get those fresh new leads, and that's how you do a lot of close a lot of units.
I
It's
love
really
that,
like,
Alex. So that's great information. And again, it's that statistics of using the market to your advantage. Next week, I hope that you'll be there. I'd love for you to share more information on kind of the psychology behind that, right? Of how we should be doing it. Because if we adopt some of that with our leads, I think it'll really help a lot. So thank you for saying that. I need that myself.
Thank you. And
yeah, for sure. So that's the lead accelerator portion. That was a real treat for us with Command. That was amazing. The other thing that's been amazing is the opportunities platform in Command. It really is a very simple system that's actually kind of fun to look at. And this is by someone I've never done tracking. I would rather sell more houses and work harder than to have to, I know that sounds dumb, but write it down in a spreadsheet. Like I just wouldn't do it. I don't do budgeting. That's
Patrice
been my
loves
game.
leverage.
Yes, I have leverage, thankfully. But to be honest, that wasn't a very smart business move. You know, what happened is I was running a business and I've been number two team in my office for the last several years. I'm selling, last year we had some challenges. So my income was down 6 figures, but every year I'm always, I think we're at 750 is what our team closes a year in volume. So I have an enviable business from a lot of people in my market center. What no one knew, and I was embarrassed to admit, is I didn't have a strong business. I sold a lot of houses. I didn't have a profitable business and I didn't have a well-run business. And because of having this in my face and because it's so easy, I'm now turning into a business person. I'm now enjoying actually going through these things, which is why I keep saying like, this is the fun app that goes with the book. Oh my gosh. And yes, I know it's in beta, but wow, some of these things are actually cool. You know, from the opportunities to the checklist, which kind of to me looks like similar to what the Brivity system looked at when I looked at that. You know, Ben Kinney talks about 5 who. Everything in real estate has a task and someone should own that and have a responsibility. So now with the Command system, you can literally go through and say, okay, there are 192 real estate tasks. You can mark them up. You can assign them. And Erin, you could talk a little bit more because you're doing this at a high level. We're just getting started. But tell us more about that because that's spectacular.
Yeah, for opportunities, I mean, especially if you are a solo agent that has enough business that you should be thinking about bringing on an admin, it's an amazing leveraging tool because you literally walk people through the opportunities at what stage they're at. And if you haven't, you can go back in our daily emails. They have my opportunity class. And in that, I actually share what is in every single stage in the opportunities. So you can go see that. And the nice thing is that you leverage it. Why? Because you don't have to think. That's the entire point of a database is to not have to think, right? If you're doing 10, 11 transactions at once, or even if you're only doing 3 transactions at once, you need to know who's at what stage and what you have to do next. So opportunities allows you to see where somebody is at every stage, go through and make sure that you're checking off everything, you know, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And then the great thing that Command has just started to implement is they have a notification task. So when you're looking at the opportunities, once you click something, you can click a button that notifies that person. And it can either notify that person as soon as it happens, it can notify them weekly, and I believe there's even a daily. But it's great because now instead of like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we've accomplished the photos and our, you know, the circle prospecting I told you I was going to do and this that I told you I was going to do. Instead of just like an email goes off and it's like, just so you know, the Wheel Up team has accomplished X, Y, and Z for your listing. And how great that you get to save, it might seem like 3 minutes, but if you get to save 3 minutes on every client every day, it's a lot of time that you're saving.
I love that. That is so cool, actually. It's an opportunity. And you said earlier, you used the word leverage, right? So it really is like a piece of leverage, right? You're setting it up to become your virtual assistant. It's like some AI a little bit. You have to program it, of course. And it's worth it when you get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's a lot of it that's already there, right? I mean, this isn't as hard as it might seem. Like, is it the least time consuming thing? No. Is it worth it? Yes.
Yeah, that's what we found too, for sure. So yeah, I love that. So I'm excited about the opportunities, which that kind of leads us right into the smart plans. This came up a lot at our market center and Erin was sharing, but the smart plans are amazing because again, that's the app for the 36 touch that Gary says in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. This is what the successful agents did when they touched this many times, magic, right? So now we have this system. And the cool thing is that they've set it up where we can just copy everybody, which is the KW model, right? R&D, rip off and duplicate. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
So, and those can be found, where do you find this the best place, Erin?
Yeah, so right on command, if you go into the smart plans, they'll have a whole smart plan library. And it was after Mega Camp that all the agents rolled it out so that most of the mega agents have already shared their smart plan. So one of the things that Command doesn't do yet, but it will, is that, you know, eventually, let's say somebody puts in their information or whatever on a Facebook lead, right? It auto-populates into Command. Eventually, there will be a trigger that, you know, anybody coming from Facebook leads starts this, and it, you know, will automatically text, we'll put a task for you to call, we'll send an email, etc. But now we don't have that auto start. So, but what you know is, because it comes and it gives you a little alert, new lead. All you have to do is put them on that smart plan, start today, and it'll automatically start touching them. And you need that Twilio account. And then that will make it so that you're auto texting. But yeah, everything is there in that library, and you can, of course, edit it to fit you and your needs best. And once you do, that's a giant amount of leverage again for you.
I'm so excited. I mentioned that we hired a virtual assistant, and this is her one thing, is to run this at a very high level. And I'm reading the 12-week year, and it really talks about coming up with your topic and focus. And I'll have to do this. Awesome. I'll have to do that one again, because I'll admit that I haven't been flawless in the 12-week year. So I'm going to have 2 12-week years back to back. And that's what it is getting this ready. Because once we have that kind of stuff working for us, then business is just going to come in every once in a while, right? You have to actually be in the lake if you want a fish to jump in your boat. Gotta at least be kind of close. So I love that.
I like that phrase. I've never heard that. You have to be in the lake if you want the fish to jump in your boat.
Yeah, I'm like, you never know if someone's going to come in, like, but if I'm not there in the water, then I have no shot of a client or a fish jumping in my boat, right? So it helps me to remember. So obviously that whole framework is another opportunity, which has just been amazing. And then really the biggest opportunity, I think, in a lot of this was really to go back to basics. I mean, because it is so messy, we've had to call our clients. We've had to call our clients to verify information. We've had a lot of problems that have kind of bubbled up because of making these switches. But the cool thing is those were all the challenges that were there all the time that I was able to ignore. You can't sell someone a house if you don't talk with them. They're not going to trust, right? They're not going to go work with you if they don't trust you. You're not going to build trust if they don't like you and you don't have a relationship. We have to be talking with people. No one's just going to walk into your life and go, hey, oh my God, I love that badge on your chest. I just left an open house for a $12 million property. You don't know me, but would you mind being my agent? No, of course not. That would be weird, right? This is a trusting relationship. We have to move forward. So the cool thing about, you know, my opportunity of going back is just having to be on the phone, all those things that I had been avoiding for so long because I would go put my boat in the water, right? I'm going to go to an open house and pretend that that's lead generation. It is, but it's passive lead generation. What if I spent those 3 hours making phone calls to people that know, like, and trust me, and I built those relationships? What would that do to my business? And so that's where we are today. Does anyone have any comments on any of that stuff or questions? Okay, then I'm going to tell you my last exciting thing about what I love about Command. Color-coded tagging, people. You can actually change the colors of the tagging. And we have a really funny saying, which I'm not going to share, about what lead generation is. We'll see if Stephanie laughs. Lead generation is hard. It's definitely not fun. We have to talk to 97 to 99 people that tell us no.
It's easy.
I mean, it's
Change
easy.
your
Yes, thank
language.
you.
Lead
No, you're right.
generation is so easy.
Lead generation is easy, mostly. We still have to talk to 97 to 99 people and hear no from those people. I'm not ready. No, thank you. Hang up, whatever it is, statistically to get to 1 to 3 yeses, right? And so we really want to use the tools that make it kind of easy and fun, because if we have that supportive framework, it's easier to get out there and hear no, 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 until we find that person that says yes. And then you're like, wait, what? Okay. And then you get to put your realtor suit on and get to work. And until then, our job is actually exactly what we can do on command. And the only thing we can do, which is make phone calls, record the information, take notes, and then set a task to follow up with them again. Can you guys agree with that? So that's pretty much the class, although we have more in there, but that's really the contention, right? Does anyone have any questions on that portion? If not, we move right into the obstacles, because I'm sure anyone who's tried has found a few obstacles with command. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the
Bring it, guys.
can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Oh, on the obstacles?
On the lead. No,
On
can
the
you
lead.
elaborate on that a little bit more? I didn't. Yeah, yes, the leads.
On the lead accelerator, like the leads that come in through Facebook, you mean?
Yes.
So we'll talk. So we have a whole
Yes.
class
Oh,
on
so
that.
it
That's what
comes-
next week's class is, where we really get deep into those sections.
Okay, fair.
Some of them aren't
That's
awesome,
fair,
right?
that's fair.
They do. I will shortly tell you, I advertise our listing and it basically says, click here for information. They click there and it brings them to a lead capture page. And because Facebook has their information, hopefully you get an email and a phone number, or you get just one of those. Every once in a while, there's nothing at all. But on a lot of them, there's some piece of information where then you can add them to your database and start pursuing them.
Gotcha.
Does that answer that a little bit of that question for sure? And by the way, I'll be frank, some of these people, you're in New York, I'm in California. We have people that aren't going to be excited that they clicked on a link and didn't get to see what they were thinking they were. So we have people oftentimes that will write a message and go, this isn't what I asked for. I didn't get more information. This brought me to a person. You called me. That's going to happen. That might happen on a message, or it might happen on the phone call. Let me tell you what I say in those situations. Mr. Smith, I'm so sorry that you didn't quite get what you expected, but let me tell you what's going on. I'm a real estate professional, and I was hired by the seller of this property, and I made a commitment to them that I was going to speak with everyone that was curious about their property, because you may have noticed we're in a pandemic and things are difficult, and I'm a salesperson. So I have to make sure that I'm given the opportunity to tell you everything you know about the property, because there's no way that you'd get that from the link I'd share. And this is the commitment I made to my seller. So I'm so sorry that you didn't quite get. I'm happy to answer that question, and I promise I'm not going to make you buy it, but that's the commitment I made to my seller, and that's the reason that I have your information. So, kind of turn that into a positive. I just sold myself. That guy thought he didn't like me, and now he probably likes me a little more, right? But do be prepared, because that does happen sometimes.
We have two things. The first thing is Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Is a decent place to put things into, but then also we have a marketing company. We work with Scott Leroy out of New York. I don't know if you guys deal with them all over the country, but out of New York we do. And anyway, Scott, he does a lot of our graphics, does a lot of our mailers. He does a lot of our ancillary materials. But in addition to that, for $50 a month, what he'll do for you is he'll build out a Facebook page, he'll build out an Instagram page, he'll build out a Twitter page, which I have no idea what that would even look like. And he'll build out a LinkedIn page for you. And so I said to him, I go, yeah, I'm not going to use my own Facebook page because nobody needs to see that. And no one needs to see my Instagram page. So I need to have all this fresh stuff. And I go, and I don't really have a real estate bio. I go, so do you have a generic real estate bio you can just stick my name into? He's like, sure, we'll build it out. We'll keep track of how many people go to the site. Look at your, look at whatever you have up there. Get back to you and let you know how many people have clicked whatever. Then I also can switch in whatever other properties I have. I can switch them in and out. He'll do that for me for nothing. Same thing with Instagram, do the same exact process. And then I told him on LinkedIn, I only want to be like associated with like $2 million properties. Like, I don't want to be like, the only thing is I want to be on really expensive things because those are where business people go. So I don't really want to be on something for 500 grand. I would do for $1.3 million, you know, for like some, you know, I don't want to be like, they can come to me and I can show them other things, but to be higher. So are you saying that those things aren't worthwhile having if you have someone like that sort of capturing that data and providing that data for you?
Oh, it's all worthwhile. So you're having everything. I'm only talking about a tool. So you're still going to have your Instagram. You're still going to have your Facebook. In fact, once you get this set, you have more time to do that at a high level because there's plenty of opportunity there. You're about to see Erin and me all over. We just took a class with like some amazing, like the guru of video marketing. So you're going to see our faces all over creation. So I hope that's okay. Because what?
Yeah,
and you want to get that personality out. And you're right, there is a different audience to all of those. So I'm not saying don't do that. You should do that. What I'm saying is add this piece in and capture information, because what you're doing is passive advertising, the marketing, right? You hope that someone clicks on the button, but most of them won't. What this is doing is that this is giving you an opportunity to pursue that person that wouldn't have clicked on it. Like I've always been good at open houses. You may not be able to tell, but I'm fairly charming. People like me in those. And so I have gotten a lot of business from open house. However, what I found that if I didn't make the first phone call, it didn't happen. I mean, I've had open houses where, I'm not kidding, people hug me when they leave. I'm like, oh, that's my best friend. I'm going to be the maid of honor in her wedding. Never heard from her again. I'm like, beep, rude. However, it's because I didn't reach out first. We are entrepreneurs, right? We're business professionals. And as scared as we think we are the bravest 1% to 3% in the world, right? We're the ones that are going to go out there. The other people won't. So even if they like you, even if they're compelled to do business with you, if you don't first engage them, the likelihood is that you're not going to do business with them. It's just not going to happen. They're fearful. Everyone's fearful. People choose fear or love, right? They're going to pick fear until you show them some love back, and then they have a relationship with you. So this is only capturing it so that now you can build a relationship using a 36 touch. And then again, the stats are for these big teams is they look at over a 2-year cycle. They're touching them 36 times. So in 72 touches in 2 years, that's the only time you know if that's a good lead or not. Up until that point, you have no idea, right? Because you haven't worked it properly. So should you do this though, and we're throwing $2 and $3 leads at a time, not tomorrow, but in 2 years, you should have a really, really powerful business, a really deep pipeline, and actually quite a profitable business, right? Because this is very inexpensive. Again, going back to this is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And I don't exactly know the date, but I think Gary was talking to those agents in like the 80s and 90s. So all these fancy apps that we had, they weren't even there. You know, these people were doing this with Excel spreadsheets. So again, it goes back to basics. And Stephen, that's a wonderful, wonderful question. I hope I answered some of those things today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I in all those years that I worked in sales, I mean, I've opened up small, you know, 1 store, 5 stores, then into bigger accounts, 27 stores, 125,000 square foot stores. I've opened up West Allen and had them making $6 million a month in profit off one product. I mean, like I've developed a business acumen to do that, but I have to get there with real estate. It's a different language. It's a very different language. That's all. The sales part of it's all the same, but the language of how to get it is different.
Yes, and you have to be a lot more proactive because you were working with a business, and you mentioned it, an $80 billion business that those people, they had customers that needed them and they were the target, right? Everyone's going to them. You're in real estate now. We're all over the place. We're like ants. Right? There's every time you turn around, there's like another realtor, real estate agent, right? We're everywhere. So you have got to differentiate yourself. And the difference is the relationship building, because you're not, I mean, Keller Williams is an awesome brand, right? For sure. There are plenty of people that don't pay attention and they're seeing faces and names, right? You're competing with people that are on TV, right? You have that to deal with. So you have to be more than that. And the only way to combat that is to have a relationship of trust, relationship of trust, respect, and for them to like you.
And that's where I have to get, that's why I'm doing all this stuff now.
Yeah.
And like,
it'll be worth it. And again,
I took Bold, I took Bold, and which I should have taken second, but now it's all the command stuff that I'm doing now. Then I should have done Bold. Then I should be out doing that because it's just,
yeah. Well, and it's all about self-mastery. So just think, you know, half of these classes, I always joke all the time because I do a pretty decent business and new agents come up and all the time and they go, "You're taking that class again?" And I go, I guess it just takes me longer to learn than it does for you. And that's me being sarcastic. But the reality is that we have to master everything. This is a really hard job. And by the way, look at what you can be paid. Technically per hour, we make more than doctors and attorneys and people that have $500,000 in school debt. We can, for $1,000, you can go and earn that, right? It's not going to come for free, you guys, right? We have to be the best salespeople, and your product is really yourself.
And Patricia, I just wanted to say.
Someone was speaking.
Alex?
Alex, say that again.
Yes, you was right about like repeating, because even Michael Jordan said it. He said, everybody sees my 6 rings, but no one saw how many times I missed during practice. It's been times where he shot 1,000 balls and missed 1,000 balls. So that just goes to say that when you perfect something, someone can have more talent than you. But if you just perfect it a little more and just work on it a little more with positive energy, of course, I think you'll have a little more leverage. And also right now, I know you said that real estate agents are like ants, but right now they're losing hope, and they're it's cleaning up. Do I make sense? It's
and by the way, anytime you have an agent that loses hope, they're going to cut their commission and they're going to ruin our industry. So we have got to be stronger. We have got to inspire others, and we have to do a better job and hold everybody's hand and pull them along, because, you know, Gary talks about all the time, our industry is under attack. And if we don't hold the line and do a really professional job and act as business people, I believe, and it's just my opinion, that will erode our industry away even that much faster.
I do want to continue with going on with our challenges of command, because that's what we're here for.
Thank you. Okay, so for the obstacles, I'll be honest, the team functionality is still not working on command. We've been here for several months and it's still very tricky.
There's lots of things that are working for command for team.
For ours, maybe our office isn't our person. So for our database, we're not able to move leads in those same ways. So the good news is that our obstacle actually became an opportunity. So back in the old days, I would click a button, it would send over. What happens now is that we actually have to transfer things in our database. So the benefit is that now our clients, or excuse me, the agents on our team, we are actually communicating just that much deeper with following up and tracking, actually. So that's number one. The second is that, and I don't know if there's anyone with a team, so excuse me if this isn't there, but because things are a little more difficult, because the team functionality wasn't at the level where we could handle it without making errors. Because right now our system is separate than our each buyer's agent. So it's a little tricky. And our admin, our ASC, our coordinator says that it's not ready for us to switch over at this point. So I didn't really question why, but he isn't letting us switch over at that point. Maybe it's because he doesn't trust me with it. But the neat part is that now, instead of me clicking a button and just sending a lead to an agent on my team, we actually are coaching better, which was something we didn't do before. So now I actually get the agent on my team on the phone and me and that new client, and I actually convert for them, which wasn't something that that I ever done before. And I'll bet that there are a lot of teams that don't do that. We just kind of cross, here's a script, go take care of this and move forward. So that part has been really helpful. And I know we're pressed on time, so I'll move quick with the other one. And then the other one is we lost a lot of our notes. So we have almost 3,000 people. I think it was over 3,000. Once we cleaned it up, it was under 3,000. And we lost a lot of our notes because I have been doing this for 14 years. And some of my notes really went back for 12, 13, 14 years, and we lost it all. And at first I was really frustrated. And then I was like, oh gosh, this is terrible. And then I realized, again, I need to be talking to these clients. I was assuming that because they used me 14 years ago, 12 years ago, that they were always going to come back again because it was a great experience. But the reality is that's not true. I've lost business of people that gave me a 10-star review and that ultimately went with someone else because I didn't continue the follow-up. So it's been a really neat opportunity for us to call people in our database and for me to say, hey, Bob, hey, it's Patrice. Because of COVID, I made some changes in my business and I actually have a new database and I lost all of the information for you. However, you are one of my favorite people. And so I knew that I had to go out of my way to make this phone call, connect with you. And I would wonder if you can help me confirm, is this your phone number? Is this your email? Oh, great. Thanks so much. Oh, by the way, Bob, the other commitment that I've made, especially through COVID because of the challenges, is I want to double my business next year. So I'm wondering, is there someone that you know or can think of that may be doing business in real estate the next year or two that you can refer my way? No? Well, that's okay, because what I found is that usually when I plant a seed, that's usually after when someone comes up with a deal. So if you don't mind, I'm going to reach out with you in the next 3 weeks, and I'll bet you're going to find a referral for me. And then something similar like hanging up. So again, it was a real challenge having all of these problems, but those notes from 14 years ago were terrible, right? From 2 years ago, everybody's world just changed 6 months ago. So if I haven't spoken with them in COVID, then I really don't know anything about their life. I'd love to hear your input on that, because I think that's really the key for a lot of things. Anyone agree?
Yes.
Does anyone else want to share some of their challenges as well and anything they've learned? Oh, thanks, Ada.
Yeah, and who's using Command right now? It'd be great to learn your challenges so that we can, better serve you guys in these next classes.
I've just started using Command, and so more to follow next week.
I love it. Who else?
I promise more to follow.
I love that.
That's perfect. What about everybody else? I think, Lydia, you're using Command a bit. Ida?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought was. Yes, I'm using it, but I'm not using it to the level that you ladies were speaking about, and that's why I'm in the class, because I want to take my business further. All I use is to put in my information, sort of like a green sheet. My contact information is there, and I just hired someone in our office to help me get set up so I can start building my smart plan, using opportunities that she just mentioned. So definitely I'm going to be in the class next week, because I wasn't informed of anything like that, what I've heard today. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yes, I'm going to take the time now, because I'm by myself running everything. And of course, I'm overwhelmed, especially in this market. But I want to slow down a little bit and learn more of my systems, because I have a lot of great opportunities there that I wasn't aware of. So I don't even use Facebook, because I could barely keep up with my 2 emails. I said, I can't do Facebook. But now that I hear this, someone that can run this for you for $50 that we have in our own office. So Scott, so I'm definitely going to look into that. That was great information for me.
I love that. I didn't do Facebook at all personally until I got a deal from Facebook. They're like, I got a call, 1.8 listing. They signed for 5.5%. She was the easiest, nicest person ever. We didn't even ever go on the MLS. I'm like, how did you find me? Facebook. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get into that thing. Which, by the way, we'll talk about that more next week too. But, and again, like Steven said, there's so many opportunities everywhere. There really are. But ultimately, I think we need to be purposeful that wherever we get the people from, we stick them in our database, and then we go through this and make sure that we're nurturing them at the high level that you mentioned about.
I get a lot
of
other
challenges?
Referrals. Oh, I'm sorry. My business is mostly through referrals. But now I want to use some systems too. But, I get a lot of referrals, and I give some out to the office. But yeah, I want to also change a little bit my business for next year. I don't want to do everything myself.
Well, so I love that. And we actually, our 3rd class is about referrals. So I can't wait for you to come on that one. And again, blending that situation, a database can be used. It doesn't have to just be for clients, right? We can get business from our vendors. So I would say you create a smart plan find a smart plan for someone that's also getting referrals at a high level, so that you can even have more referrals, right? Maybe you double your referral business by having those people in a 36 touch. Obviously your message is different, but again, just going back to, it doesn't matter where you get your business from. We just want more business and more opportunity, because when you get more opportunity, you'll be able to help more people, right? Alex just talked about how people are, losing hope in this business. So anyway, and you can come from contribution.
It's bad for the industry, but it's good for the
incredible market. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I missed you guys were speaking at the same time.
I said it's bad for the industry, but it's good for the up and coming.
for right now, right? Yeah. Change is good. There's always opportunity in change, which is a lot of our topic today for sure. So no question. So I love that. And you guys, I will say to answer question 3. Oh, Benjamin, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did. Thank you guys for the class so far. It's been great, by the way. So for somebody just building out their database and importing it into Command, a lot of the contacts, I don't have their email address, and I'm nervous about reaching out to these people that I haven't spoken to in a while, especially when I'm worried about just calling them and immediately going right into it. What's a smooth way to go and, like, fill in the holes that I have, like, in my database? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use email address without sounding like an asshole, basically.
No, yeah. Well, and I think the biggest thing is just doing it, because the funny thing is, on their side, they probably don't think that you're an asshole. I used to think that a lot of, people do think that about me, but not for those reasons. But I think a really easy way to do it is when you're calling them being like, hey, how about I touch base with you and not bother you on the phone? What is the best email address? Not ask them, do you want to give me your email address? But just like, oh, I'd rather not bother you all the time on the phone. What's the best email address? Just ask the open question instead of a yes or a no question, because people, we often say no, especially if you're in New York. So it's the only word we know how to say. So I would try it that way. Plus, think of it this way. Do you believe that you're going to be the best person for these people?
Yeah.
To help them? Yeah. So think about the disservice that you are doing to these people if you don't get their email address, because if you don't get their email address, somebody else is. They're going to be top of mind. They're going to help them. And now you've just screwed your friend, because they just got taken advantage of by somebody else, because you would have given them the best service.
Okay.
Yeah. And, they talk about in Bold, I believe it was a Bold coach, we did some extra coaching after, and they said, you want to think about the people in your database. Like if you had concert tickets, right? If you had a private showing, I sold Imagine Dragons a house. So I keep thinking about them because during this class, that's how I kept thinking. So I did a deal with Ben from Imagine Dragons, right? And I thought, okay, if Ben said, Patrice, you're such a good realtor, I want to give a private showing to you and all of your friends. Who would those people be? Well, guess what? I know a lot of people, right? I'm not going to be able to get to you via phone. So you got to think I need your email addresses, because at any moment I do such a good job that someone's going to come up to me and want to give me a private concert, and I need to make sure. So obviously you're not going to say that, but it's that feeling that you have inside. And then you also, by the way, you don't have to tell them that you never had their email. So I do a lot of self-apologizing. Hey, I am so sorry, Bob. I have no idea where your email address is. I just can't seem to find it. We just actually were giving away pies last month. Our office had an event. It was really cool. And I'm so sorry that I missed you. I just noticed that I didn't have your email address. So will you text that over to me right now, and I'll make sure that we never miss anything again, because there's all kinds of cool stuff happening. Not to mention the market, people are so scared. There's people leaving New York, people are coming in. We're going to start doing a newsletter so that I can keep you updated, because I can't tell you how many people are asking me that question. What's going on with the market? I want to make sure that I don't miss you, because you may need real estate. Sorry, that's my dog. You may need some real estate help, or one of your friends may, and no one's going to take care of you better than I am. So please text that to me right away, and I'll make sure that I don't miss you again. And I'm so sorry that you missed all the cool stuff from a few months ago. I'll do a better job.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Right? So it's again, that coming from contribution, and part of it has to be the mindset. Here's the deal, Benjamin. If you're sending him garbage in an email, that's my dog who's really needs my attention. If you're sending him garbage in an email, it's going to be very difficult for you to have that. So you're going to have to make a commitment with yourself for your clients that every time you send that man an email, that it's going to be something of value. Because if you know it's going to be something of value, it will be a much easier conversation. If you're just going to tell him when the time changes, sorry, it's harder. Like, hey, can I make sure to put you on an automated system so that I announce when it's Christmas, because you might not know on your own. Can I please tell, right? Nobody likes that. So I think that's part of it too, is you have to know from within that I'm giving these people exactly what they want. And then you got to deliver. Does that help?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. And mindset is really the biggest. And I go back to that again, right? Everything's either fear or love. That's why people make decisions, and that's why people move. When they're moving houses, they're doing it for either really exciting things or really tricky things. You're not that good of a salesperson that you're ever going to make them move. But what you need to be is their friend. You need to have your hand right there next to them so that when that time comes, yours is the one that they hold on to. And so conveying that is really kind of what works out. So does anyone have any more questions or comments on that?
Or concerns that we can make sure to address in the future, make sure that, you know, this is really going to accomplish what you guys want?
Yeah, this is super interactive. The more I learn, the better. She's an Italian Spinoni and they talk all the time. I was lucky to get as much quiet as I.
Maybe as we get into smart plans, teach us how to build our own smart plans, or is that stupid because really, really great people have built them already?
I think steal what is out there. Just take what they've given you. That's kind of my thought. Because like top agents gave it. So, however, make sure to go through and, you know, make sure that the wording is like yours. But if they built it, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to start, if you want to customize it later. But again, just like you need to go back to basics. You need to be on the phone with people. You have a lot of decisions to make. You want to have the back end. So you're making the choice. But if someone's going to give you, right, if you're going to have to, you're like, I want a new house. Oh, awesome. Do you want to build that from scratch, or can I give you one that's 80% of the way done and you can just customize it? I know what every client would choose, right? So take the easy route. Trust me, I haven't always done that up and before. And now I'm learning like, oh my gosh, you put yourself in the right direction and you do your job. And by the way, your job, whether none of us like hearing it, is to make phone calls, is to call people that are not expecting to hear from you, and to call them again and again and again. And some of those are not going to be delightful. And a lot of them are going to ignore you and everything in between. And some of them are going to keep you on the phone for so long that you literally think, I will never make this phone. I can't make phone calls. Seriously, I got through 3 phone calls today, right? But the cool thing, you guys, is you're going to get better. You're going to get better. And you could take class after class, and I've taken it, and there is no magic bullet. The magic bullet is that you need to be making phone calls to people. You need to be getting better at phone calls to people. And the only way that that can happen at a high level is for you to do it yourself. Yucky. I mean, wonderful, wonderful. I'm sorry.
I love it.
And you guys, on our class, like people had asked the question, you know, you can choose where you want to get business. If you guys want to do expired business and you can do that at a high level, I'm not saying this is the only way to get there. I'm just saying this is how it's worked for me. And this is kind of parallels a lot of the MREA. If you want your person to be from expired or for sale by owners, people do that at a very high level. You will, when you convert, you will get a client faster and have a faster transaction. This is definitely a slower way, the relationship building, right? It's just one of the ways, and you should definitely do it all.
Well, and the expired people go into the database too.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So it continues. And you guys, technically that's an hour. It really does go by quickly. We didn't quite get, if you guys want to stay for a minute, we could talk about the things that, that I have planned to do in Command, learning what I've learned for the next year. Or if you guys have to go, if you want to ask any questions, we can just do a Q&A. I'm grateful for everyone coming on. I'm grateful that everyone pretty much stayed, which is awesome. Next week, again, we're going to get deeper into the Lead Accelerator, and we're going to be doing a tutorial. So you're going to see me do a flawed ad, right? And we're going to go through the steps. I'm sure I'll go backwards a couple times. The cool thing is we'll be doing it together, and you'll just learn by seeing. And if you have a second computer, you're welcome to bring it and do yours at the same time. I think have a credit card ready if you guys want to actually click the button, because you will have to have that in your system. Mine's already logged in, so you can do that. And again, talk with our office calls it the ASC, and see if there are any command classes this week, because they will be able to give you a lot more detail. So I'm here to inspire and kind of get some energy going and some ideas. But really they can help you at a high level. Does that sound good?
And also, everyone, if you do have very specific questions that come up between now and next Friday, send me an email. You can either send it to ewheelock@KW, or my other email is Erin@thewheelockteam.com. And I can gather all of those and make sure that Patrice and I actually go over them, because I do know that in New York, you know, we work a little differently, but it's really not that differently. I had to just learn a lot of what wasn't different, if that makes sense. So hopefully we can streamline a lot of that for you.
That's
For
great.
sure. Yeah, this is totally interactive and we're learning from you, by the way, as much as hopefully you're learning some things from us. Because we're really in the, we're in this together. We're agents just like you.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you guys
thanks,
so
guys.
much. Oh, one more thing. So our market center, RSASC Jeffrey is amazing. So he is actually writing a class that will implement probably sometime in December. I don't know if it'll be during ours or after. We don't quite have a date yet, but your office will be welcome too. And it's really, what does my command morning look like? So it's really bringing a lot of this together okay, I'm starting in the morning. What is the first thing that I do? And really just getting there and kind of going through those steps. So as we're all learning this together over the next 4 weeks, we're learning kind of the pillars. And when he gives us that glue, I think it'll just be that much easier. And you guys, if we start 2021 ahead of the curve, right? And we've saved some money and we've cut some expenses, there's no end to where our business can go next year. Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrice. I love your dog. I want him to be the celebrity guest star.
Can I show you guys? I want to take my virtual.
Yeah, show them.
Okay, let's see. I'm taking my background off and here's my Sophie. Sophie, hi girl.
Okay.
So cute.
She's like, Mommy, you've been on the phone for like 3. I swear to God, you guys, I don't know what's going to happen to my dog when I go back to work. She's not going to survive well. Like we think we have a problem now. Good Lord, we're going to have a whole net of problems actually.
Yeah, dogs think they have the best life. You know, their owners are always walking them. They're home all the time. Like,
Yeah.
Great.
Totally. That has definitely been there. Thank you guys so much. It was very nice to meet you all. Please bring more questions. And like Erin said, send her over anything that we've missed because this is very interactive. Again, it's just kind of an agent mastermind with a specific agenda, really, right? Coffee with friends.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Tea, really.
Yes.
All right. See you guys next Friday. It's the same link, by the way. So it'll always be the same link.
Okay, see you Friday.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
See you Friday. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, Alex, for participating. It was really great to have you. Hey, the same with you. Like, it's so great when you guys talk.
Yes.
See you next week.
Bye.